Yeah, 2/3 you will just you'll fall out. You'll become disenchanted in the Christian church or whatever doctrine, whatever fake doctrine you're a part of, and then you become disenchanted because you're not being taught the truth. The truth that the Hebrew Israelites hold, right? Because this is our heritage, this is our Bible, this is our book, this is our history, right? So let's keep moving on. Verse 15. But when it pleased the Most High, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by His grace to reveal His Son in me. See, and it was grace. It was by grace and mercy that we received this knowledge and this truth, right? And he brought up who separated me from my mother's womb. Well, guess what? Yahweh knew the prophets in the womb because of what? Because of reincarnation. Because our spirits belong to Yahweh. He's the Father of spirits. So we go to Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. You see? So even before we were out of our mother's womb, Yahweh knew us, and He also sanctified and ordained us a prophet unto the nations. So even when Paul was going off and persecuting the Hebrew Israelites, right? When he was going off, that whole time, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had already ordained him a prophet. You see? And that was repentance, right? Galatians 1. And I read 16. But it says that I might preach him among the heathen. Immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood, neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me, but I went to Arabia and returned again into Damascus. So when he started learning the truth, he didn't right away go join the camp. You see, basically what he did was he was probably studying, growing in the spirit. That's what happened with me when I first came when I first crossed the Hebrew Israelites. Man, I was watching the IUIC. I was watching Bishop Nathaniel, and you can get some meat in there. I'm sorry, some milk in IUIC, but when you get to the meat, they start going off, right? They start, but you'll never know that until the Spirit's dealing with you, right? But then when the Spirit starts to deal with you as a man in this truth, and you really can see when these other camps are going off because it doesn't line up with the scriptures, okay? So back to this, he didn't go right away. It says in verse 18, he didn't go meet the apostles right away. What does it say? 18. Then after 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem to see Peter and abode with him 15 days. So it took him 3 years. And you know what? Honestly, when I first came across this knowledge and this truth, I think I watched the IUIC for at least 2 years, And I was watching other camps too, but at that time, I didn't really understand the differences, and I didn't understand, I didn't understand the separations and the. But once the Lord directed me to the GMS, the banner of GMS, then guess what? That's when I really started to grow in the spirit. You see. And then I was able to discern, oh shit, I remember, watching these dudes, because you watch other camps before you know that's you shouldn't be watching other groups, because it'll bring confusion. And not only that, what I always say now is if you've been in GMS a while now and you're a sincere brother, I mean, it's safe to go back and use those other camps when they go off as a teaching opportunity, when like I said, and it's safe because meaning you're not gonna you're built up in the knowledge, you know what's off and what's not off, what truth is, and when they go off. So you can go back and discern once you've been a part of this and you're actually sincere and you're grown in the spirit, But if you're a brand new person in GMS or a brand new person in the truth, then you don't want to. You just want to watch, GMS, because GMS is going to teach you 100% truth and knowledge. And then when you go back, if after years of studying, which Lord's will, we ain't got a lot of years on this place left, but if you do, you know what I'm saying? You going back. You're gonna be able to discern. Hey, these dudes are going off because I've already know this. I've been taught the truth, and that's what it is, man. So you see, Paul, he didn't go join up with the apostles until 3 years in the truth. See, verse 19. But other of the apostles saw I none save James, the Lord's brother. So he saw Yahweh's brother James. That was the only one he saw. Verse 20. Now the things which I write unto you, behold, before the Most High I lie not. Afterwards I came into the regions of Syria and Cilicia, and I was unknown by face unto the churches of Judea which were in Hamashiach Yahushai. Right. So he was going into places they didn't have the internet, right? Now if the internet was around back then, everybody would know Paul's face, right? But they didn't have that, they didn't have that technology. So at that time, they didn't know what Paul looked like. Where am I at? Verse 23. But they had heard only that he which persecuted us in times past now preacheth the faith which once he's destroyed. So they heard about Paul. They knew there was because like I said, Paul was he had a high status in society prior to entering the truth, right? That's why he says, "I know how it is to be abased, and I know how it is to be exalted." And let me grab that because I don't think I said that right. Let's see. And so we go to Wisdom of Solomon. Well, I'll just read it. But it says, I know, well, I'll go to it. Let's see, Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 12. It says, oh no, that ain't it. I went to the wrong one. I'm tripping. It's Philippians 4 and 12. It says, I know both how, this is Paul speaking, I know both how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to be abound and to suffer need. Right, so Paul was saying this because like I said, he had that high status in society, and when you come to the truth, you tend to give those things up. You just kind of go with daily bread. But ain't nothing wrong if you keep your career, which you're making a lucrative money, or you're making a good amount of money. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes you gotta just let the bullshit go, and you might humble yourself as Paul did. So that's why he said, I know how to be abased and I know how to abound, because he saw both sides of life, right? He knew how to handle himself when he had a lot, and he knew how to handle himself when he had a little. You see, and that's a characteristic of a stable man, of a man who knows how to remain stable in all situations, right? In all aspects. So let's get back to Galatians. Galatians 1, and I'm at read 23 again. It says, but they had heard only that he which persecuted us in times past now preacheth the faith which once he destroyed, and they glorified the Most High in me. You see, so they were like, they knew it was like they knew by way of mouth, right? By hearsay. In the ancient world, that was how the news was brought, by hearsay, by way of mouth, by the heralds, who would bring the news, or tell things of that was happening in other kingdoms, other nations, other cities. See, because like I said, they didn't have technology like we do today. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have TV. So they heard of this thing by hearsay, by word of mouth, and guess what? They were glorifying the Most High through that fact that Paul had one time been, persecuting the like it says in verse 14, the Jews' religion, which is our religion, which today it would actually be referred to as a Hebrew Israelite religion, right? Or they call us Hebrew, or what did Vocab Malone, he coined the phrase or the term Hebrew Israelism. Hebrew Israelism. So that's the same thing. They were praising because of the I don't want to say the word legend, but it was kind of like a legend has, they say legend has it. Well, legend has it in that time that Paul, the people knew him not by his face, but by his story. They knew that he was once a higher up, persecuting the religion, the truth. But then, he was converted, and they glorified the Most High in Paul's story, in Paul's background. All right. So with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Bakakodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.